Now, it's South Florida. We do have some really good haunted legends. Of course, Key West pretty much runs it. They do ghost tours there, and they got haunted hotels and all that kind of good stuff. But even a little bit further north here in South Florida, we still have some pretty good stories. Now, one of the classic stories that Key West holds on to, and one of the places where you can actually go and stay, is the place where Robert the Doll once was. Now, if you don't know this story, I was telling you about the haunted hotels just yesterday and how you can stay where Robert the Doll used to walk through the windows. People would look up there and they would see this doll walking back and forth. But what is the story? It goes all the way back to 1904. And a Bahamian servant girl gave 4-year-old Robert Jean Otto a handmade 4-foot-tall doll stuffed with wood, wool, and it was painted with this creepy looking face that we showed you yesterday here on the KBJ show. Now, the doll may have had this voodoo curse put on it. And it was all the servants trying to get back at the boy's parents, who were reportedly not very well liked and were really mean to them. But this little boy, Robert Jean Otto, was obsessed with his gift. And because he went by his middle name, he gave the doll his first name, Robert, and it became his new best friend. He would talk to the doll, and all these kind of weird things would be happening. And he would blame it on the doll. There were just odd little things, and then the doll would show up in places that it shouldn't have been, almost like it had moved itself. Well, as Gene got older, he started to blame this doll for all these little mishaps. I remember I think somebody fell down the stairs and died.
Oh, my.
And he's like, oh, no, that wasn't me. That was Robert that pushed her. So it's kind of weird stuff. So when you got death looming, of course, you've got spirits on the loose. And then, of course, people would walk by and they'd look up there to the top window that was supposed to be Gene's room, and they would see Robert the doll in there. It would look out the window, and then they would look back up, and the doll would be gone. Now, I don't know if that was the kid moving it around, but a lot of times the family wasn't there, and this was after Gene had moved out of the house, supposedly, that the doll was up there moving itself.
If the family's not home and the doll is moving, that is horrifying.
Yes, and now you can still see Robert the doll if you go to Key West. It's in the Fort East Martello, known as the Artist House there. But as we found out yesterday, the legend is you are supposed to ask Robert the doll, who's behind a glass case, for permission to take the photo. If not, bad things will start happening to you, and you get the curse of Robert the doll put on you.
Look, one of our KVJ horror movies, Grimsley, is kind of inspired by Robert the doll. I'm putting up Grimsley right now on our Facebook page, the entire movie, if you want to go watch it.
Okay.
All you have to do is hit the link, and you have a horror movie to watch tonight.
It's a good movie. You gonna like it.
Yeah.
Promote it, Grimsley, because
That's right.
Virginia was Grimsley.
The voice of
I am
Grimsley.
the voice of Grimsley.
Uh-huh.
And how can we find this video?
You can find it on YouTube. Hit that subscribe and like button, or I will come for you in your sleep.
I love Grimsley.
Everybody loves me.
Now, the place that Virginia would love to hang out here, it's got legend behind it. It's known as the Witch's Wall of Palm Beach.
Oh, it's everything I love. The wall, the witch.
Palm Beach.
Palm Beach is fancy. You know I love fancy.
Now, it's an interesting thing to see because there is some coral that is there, and there's a road that cuts through the coral. And you can see there's a little hole in the coral that has this rusty iron bar door in front of it. And I guess because of and the way it looks, and there's some lights behind it, it has kind of an eerie glow.
It looks like a dungeon.
Yes, it does.
In a wall made of rock.
Right.
It's super creepy. If you haven't seen it, you really should go see it.
But it's super cool, though,
It
too.
is super
yeah.
cool, yeah. It's
I
not-
know people that have gone there and had a photo shoot on that road, like right in front of it, and
Yeah.
it's such a cool spot.
Yeah, it's on Country Club Road if you want to go try and find it. Now, there are a couple legends, and I think that really the door itself was made and it just looked too creepy and too cool to not have a legend to go with it. Well,
Right.
the legend, they say, it has it that a witch lived in a house above the coral and would kidnap the children of Palm Beach Island.
Oh, my.
And then she would lock them in the cage in the rock until they were dead.
Oh, my.
And then she would stuff the corpses into holes in the coral. And that little children's souls would be forever trapped in the cage. And if a passing traveler ever touched the cage, one of the souls would be set free. But the witch must rise again and hunt to replace the soul that it had lost.
Oh.
So that's the one story of it.
It's creepier if the witch would take kids that weren't rich. It's creepier. If it's just regular kids,
She snatches poor kids from West Palm.
it's creepier that way. It just is, man.
Yeah, well, you know, this might have been done at a time when the rich kids weren't there yet.
Ah.
Palm Beach wasn't always a rich island.
You're right. It was flipped.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was.
point,
it was
my
the
friend.
servants island
Oh,
at one
look
point.
at you with that
Oh.
history on point.
That's right.
Wow.
Keeping everything in check here.
History, Kev. You know he knows his stuff.
He does.
Yeah. There's an alternate version about the Witch's Wall of Palm Beach. This one says that a young woman, now she was from an affluent family, was in love with a man that the family did not like. So she apparently made a pact with the devil to be able to turn into a fox. And she used a tunnel that went from the house to a hole in the wall to secretly meet with her young beau. But the parents found out about it and they barred the hole. Well, in a rage, she murdered her parents.
Oh, dang, girl.
And then when she was arrested, she was placed on house arrest and tried to escape as a fox, but wound up dying in the attempt. They say that you can see her glowing green eyes from the barred tunnel at night.
Wow.
Look, love makes you do some messed up things, am I right?
Kill
You're
your
right.
parents?
Look, love.
That's right, love. So there you go. So when you drive by the Witch's Wall, those are the two legends that go with it.
I haven't been there since I was probably a teenager in that area. A, is it hard to find? B, is there a photo op?
Well, the problem is there's not really a place to park. It's by a nice walking path. So if you're doing the walk along the water, you can pop off and take a photo then.
You kind of have to like park illegally
Yeah.
and move along quickly because there's
You're in the road.
you are in the road and there's eyes in the sky all over Palm Beach Island. There are cameras.
But if you took a walk, you could get a good photo op, in your opinion?
where would you park?
Be the best way to do it.
You can't, it's on a walking trail of sorts, no?
It's off of it. It's the trail doesn't go up to the wall, but you could just pop off of the trail right by where the wall is and take your photo. That'd be the best way to do it.
Sweet Denny's has got a photo up right now on KVJ TV, and I see why you guys are getting annoyed with my questions.
No, it's just but that's how you would do it. You need to park. You could park like right by the bridge. Get on the walking trail, go up there, find it, pop off, take your photo, and get back on.
It's a trek.
As
is a
creepy
trek.
as it
It'd
may
be a
be.
walk.
Don't think it's going to be a 2-second walk.
It's not.
It's not. It's a
But
trek.
What a photo op, though.
It's a cool little looking wall. I mean, it just looks so cool. It had to have a story.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. So they've made up two stories. If you want to know, those are the stories that go with the Witch's Wall of Palm Beach. Oh, I've been telling you some of the most haunted places in all of South Florida. If you want to see all the stories, to find out the best haunts that we have around here, fun little excursion that you could go out and do. And one of the more famous haunted places that we have in South Florida, if you've been here for a while, I'm sure you know the tale of the Devil Tree. Now, we've had several serial killers through this area, some of the most famous names. One name you may not know, though, but as always, he's got three of them. Gerard John Schaefer.
If you become a serial killer, they start to read your middle name no matter what.
Have
Yeah.
to. Yeah, that's just the way it goes.
Kevin Lee Ralston took.
Yeah, okay. Well, on January 8th, 1971, this Gerard John Schaefer, who was a cop, finds two teenagers hitchhiking. He shows them his badge and then puts them in the back of his patrol car. But this wasn't any regular cop. He eventually binds them up, tortures them, and then hangs them from a tree right beside his house.
Oh my gosh.
After killing them, he decapitates them
Oh my gosh.
and then starts doing unspeakable things as they are dead. This goes on for 10 days.
10 days?
Yes.
The headless skeletons of these two girls, Colette Goodenough and Barbara Ann Wilcox, were discovered underneath the tree. But the two ropes that they were hanging from were left in the tree by one of the branches. Schaefer kept it there to remember the incident. He went on to kill about 34 people before finally being caught.
Allegedly, they haven't proved all 34, but allegedly one of his MOs was he liked to kidnap and kill in pairs. And one of his things he'd like to do is make the other one defend why she should live over the other one and make them pit against each other as he's doing that.
Oh my gosh. And then he kills them both anyway.
Exactly.
Did they catch him and is he alive still in jail or is he dead?
They caught him. Oh yeah, they caught him.
Is he dead?
In fact, that story you talk about, he joined a couple police forces, and he was shady at the first one, and then the second one, he had to go back and tell his sheriff or his superior, going, "Yeah, I picked up these two girls because I was trying to teach them a lesson about hitchhiking," and they're going, "That's a little weird," and they looked into it, and they go, "Yeah, this guy's off."
Wow. How about that? Well, because of this story, there were devil worshippers and other actual Schaefer supporters that started using the tree for satanic rituals. But surprise to them, in the year 2000, they turned that area into a park. Hey, for kids to play in. And if you've ever seen it, devil worshippers right next to little kids, it's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
Remember we sent me out there.
Oh, yeah, I do.
And the police were out there,
Yep.
and it was a crazy experience because it is weird. It's a thingy of woods in a residential area of nice houses, so it's kind of odd.
Yeah, where it sits.
Yes.
So the authorities had enough of people coming out and taking photos by this tree and whatever, so they decide to cut it down. Two men come out with chainsaws, and as soon as they begin, both chainsaws malfunction. So they got into their trucks and were driving to get more chainsaws, and those guys had a fatal accident.
What?
The driver had a piece of the tree's bark in his pocket. And now the incident of this has created this legend of the devil tree, that if you want to jinx somebody, just take a piece of the devil's tree and put it in their car.
Oh,
and that they'll have an accident within the next 21 days. So if you do actually want to visit this place, you walk by the big river and take the Oak Trail. It's the second left and you'll reach the devil's tree right away, they say.
Would we like to test this theory?
Nope.
Put it in my Jeep?
Nope.
By the way, finding that tree is quite hard. Everyone thinks they know, and no one really knows.
Yeah.
And they'll go, "This is where they were." I don't think it's real.
Yeah, I see a lot of that. That's kind of more of the whole myth of it, too, is people not really knowing exactly which tree it is.
Well, we took out the whole Weird and Whatever podcast, and we even had KVJ Nationers go out with us. We did a whole walkthrough with Vicky, our psychic medium, and trying to kind of get some stuff and some feelings. And it's very difficult to try to find the tree.
Okay.
Is Gerard John Schaefer dead?
I believe he's dead, yes.
He is dead.
Yeah, it happened over 50 years ago. So, R.I.P., I would assume.
No, I don't want him to be in peace. You don't get to rest in peace.
Yeah, he died at
R.I.H.?
I believe he died at 49.
49.
Okay. Well, another place that they claim may even be the most haunted place in all of South Florida, it's the Riddle House. A place we've been into, a place where you can go. It's in Yesteryear Village. It's the yellow house they have there at the South Florida Fairgrounds. And they actually have the haunted room padlock that you cannot go in. They've actually featured it on the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures back in 2008. But the story starts in 1905. It was actually a funeral parlor at Woodlawn Cemetery, the first cemetery in the city of West Palm Beach. Now, rumored entities include a Confederate soldier who was shot and killed in the pineapple processing plant that was right next door. And at the Riddle House itself, an accused thief named Joseph hanged himself in the attic, while a little boy, Andrew, fell from the window to his death. So there are 3 spirits supposedly in this, but the one that will scratch the back of your neck is supposed to be Joseph, the one who hanged himself in the attic.
I went there before, and I had a scratch, but I realized I was leaning against a nail.
It was a mosquito.
Terrifying. There you go.
This is how we do. It's the KVJ Show.